You were never meant to chase money. You were never designed to beg for it, plead with it, or prove yourself worthy of it. That whole arrangement, the struggle, the lack, the fight to deserve, does not come from divine mind. It comes from human suggestion. It is the illusion that has hypnotized generations into believing that prosperity is the prize for exhaustion, or that wealth is some rare exception to the rule of struggle. But I am here to say with all the authority the law has given me, there is no law that rewards effort without alignment. There is no law that blesses fear, and there is no amount of striving that can override the absence of a spoken word of truth. The one who chases money has already declared, "I am separate from my supply." And the law obeys that vibration without fail. It begins to withhold. It waits. Not because it is cruel, but because it is perfect. And perfect law can only respond to perfect order. You see, the law of prosperity is not emotional. It does not read desperation. It does not respond to worry. It is not moved by need. It is moved by word. And the word must be rooted in spiritual identity, not circumstance. Most people speak as victims of their conditions, and so they remain in them. They think the law is silent. It is not. It is obedient. It is exact. And it only moves when you do. I must say this plainly because many have misunderstood it. Your financial condition is not a reflection of your worth. It is a reflection of your agreement. You do not earn divine supply. You do not qualify for it through pain. You do not activate it through effort. You command it through consciousness. And the beginning of that command is your spoken word. The words you speak daily, casually, habitually, without thought, are the very architecture of your reality. And if those words are rooted in fear, apology, hesitation, or disbelief, they carry more legal power than your dreams ever will. The law hears your vibration, not your intention. The law moves by authority, not anxiety. That is why so many pray with their lips, but cancel it with their posture. They say, "God is my source," but then speak like someone dependent on the world. But I come to awaken you from that lie. You were never meant to chase money because you were born as the vessel of divine supply. You are not a servant of the economy. You are not the byproduct of your bank account. You are not under the mercy of your job title, your family history, or your current income. You are a legal heir to infinite substance, and that substance begins to form the moment you command it with your tongue. Not through willpower, not through emotion, through word, through alignment, through agreement. Now hear this. Your wealth is not somewhere out there, floating in delay, hiding in luck, locked behind years of hard work. It is right here, waiting on your mouth. It is waiting on the moment you stop speaking as one in need and begin speaking as one in dominion. As long as you chase it, you are denying its identity. For money is not your master, it is your servant. And it does not respond to panic, it responds to presence. It does not obey hustle, it obeys hierarchy. And in the divine hierarchy, you are not the bottom rung. You are the legal voice of command. The world has taught you that money is scarce, that you must compete for it, that only a few will have enough, and the rest must accept their portion and struggle. But I say to you, the only scarcity is in consciousness. The only lack is in language. The only delay is in agreement. God has never withheld supply. The law has never said no, but it does wait for one thing. The words spoken in faith, not mumbled, not hoped, declared. And until that word is spoken, nothing moves. Because in the divine order of things, speech is structure. Declaration is demonstration. And the one who speaks lack even with good intentions, has already filed a contract of insufficiency. So many have come to me saying, "I believe in abundance," yet their mouths betray them. They say, "I can't afford it." They say, "Things are tight." They say, "It's just hard right now." Do you not know what you are doing? You are using the most powerful tool you've been given to speak against your own inheritance. You are decreeing against yourself and calling it honesty. But let me make it clear, there is no truth in fear. There is no integrity in lack. There is only law, and law does not bend for emotion, it aligns only with order. So I give you this instruction: stop chasing money. Start commanding it. Stop describing the absence. Start declaring the presence. You are not meant to run after results. You are meant to release them. And the release happens first in word. If you want the manifestation to change your verbal blueprint. Speak the thing as done. Not one day, not someday, now. For the law of prosperity does not respond to time, it responds to tone. Perhaps you were taught to be humble about your needs. Perhaps you were told that asking for wealth was selfish, or that you had to earn every penny through toil. But Divine Mind has no such instruction. The God who owns all supply is not withholding it to test you. He is waiting for you to speak as one who knows. He is waiting for you to take your place in the divine economy. And in that economy, there is no crisis, no inflation, no market. There is only voice and vibration. And every time you open your mouth, you set that vibration into motion. The question is, what are you setting? Let me tell you what I've seen. I have seen the entire financial atmosphere of a household shift because one person changed how they spoke. I have seen money appear through strange channels the moment someone stopped panicking and started commanding. I have seen bills paid in full, not because the salary increased, but because the sentence did. Do not underestimate what happens when your words match the frequency of truth. Do not dismiss the power of a single morning declaration. One sentence, spoken in authority, can dismantle years of financial hypnosis. You may be wondering, but I've been speaking affirmations. I've said the right things. Why hasn't it worked yet? And I must answer you as plainly as I can. Because you said it, but you did not believe it. Because you declared, but then you doubted. Because you spoke truth in the morning, but canceled it with fear by noon. And the law cannot obey two masters. It cannot act on contradiction. It must choose the dominant vibration. And for many, the dominant vibration has been fear. But you are not condemned to that pattern. You can break it now. You can overwrite it now. You can install a new program of wealth, not by working harder, not by proving yourself, but by training your mouth. You do not need more hours in the day. You need more agreement in your word. That is the essence of spiritual dominion. That is the secret of demonstration. That is the instruction I give you now. Speak as one who has. Declare as one who owns. Move as one who rules. You are not waiting for permission. You have legal right. And if you begin now, if you speak today as one who knows, one who governs, one who stands in the full inheritance of divine substance, then I tell you by law, your world must shift, your supply must respond, your experience must rearrange, not because you wished it, but because you aligned with it. Because you dared to say, I am not under lack, I am not beneath money, I am above it. And because I say so, it moves. Now that you know the truth, speak it, and never again chase what you were born to command. There is no prosperity without possession of word. There is no supply without spiritual speech. And there is no change in form without first a change in command. You cannot wait for the world to shift and then speak what you see. You must speak what is true. Then the world obeys. That is the divine hierarchy. That is the way law is built. And I must tell you with urgency now, nothing changes until you speak. The law is perfect, but it is not automatic. It requires your participation. It requires your voice. I have said this many times, and I say it again because repetition is the mechanism of reprogramming. The law of prosperity does not move on emotion, it moves on declaration. It does not recognize tears as commands. It does not interpret anxiety as instruction. You can worry all night and delay your good, but you can speak one line of truth spoken in divine certainty, and the entire grid of your circumstance begins to rearrange. That is the economy of spirit. That is the way substance hears. You were not born to be silent under pressure. You were not born to collapse in appearance. You were born to rule in sound. Your spoken word is the spiritual signature that authorizes reality. The universe does not respond to how you feel. It responds to what you say and how you say it. And if your words are coated in doubt, if your tone is apologetic, if your phrasing is passive, then no matter how holy your intention, the law reads contradiction. And contradiction breeds delay. Let me make this practical for you. When the fear of bills rises, do not spiral. Speak. When your account feels low, do not complain. Declare. When you receive a financial statement that suggests insufficiency, do not shrink. Command. This is not denial of facts. This is alignment with truth. For facts are appearances, and truth is law. And law always overrides appearance, but only when enforced by word. So many of you live in mental conflict. You declare abundance in the morning, but by afternoon you are reacting to the world as if nothing changed. And I must tell you that double-mindedness is not neutral. It is destructive. The scripture says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. That is not poetic metaphor, it is legal reality. The law cannot serve two masters. It cannot move when your vibration is divided. It does not obey the louder voice, it obeys the truest one. And for most people, the truest voice is still fear. That is why I now teach you the law of substitution. This is not philosophy, this is legal instruction. This law states, you cannot hold two opposing thoughts at once. The mind must choose. And because the subconscious accepts repetition as fact, whatever thought is most rehearsed becomes dominant. That means you do not fight poverty with struggle, you erase it with substitution. You do not beg your way into wealth, you speak your way out of limitation. You cannot serve both worry and wealth. You cannot declare abundance and dwell in dread. You must choose. And you must repeat the choice until it takes root. This is the way the subconscious is trained, not by shouting, not by emotion, but by steady, rhythmic repetition. What has been installed by culture, family, fear, and trauma can be replaced, but only by divine law spoken aloud again and again until the new frequency becomes the new foundation. This is the work. This is the reformation. This is the holy rehearsal of truth. So here's how you begin. When the suggestion of lack arises, and it will, do not negotiate with it. Override it. Replace it. Speak above it. Say, every bill is paid by divine supply. Say, my wealth is unlimited, for God is my source. Say, though this appearance looks small, my supply is infinite. You are not lying. You are aligning. You are not making things up. You are enforcing what already is in the invisible. And when you do that consistently, your outer world must bow. It must reconfigure. It must yield to the dominant word. This is the unseen courtroom where wealth is decided. Not in your job, not in your budget, but in the space between stimulus and response. In the moment where fear presents a case and your word must render the verdict. And I ask you now, when lack accuses, what does your tongue declare? When appearance intimidates, what does your voice command? For that decision becomes your demonstration. That sound becomes your supply. Let us also be clear. Speaking in rhythm with divine law is not a temporary tactic. It is a permanent identity. You cannot use declarations like medicine, once and only when the pain strikes. You must install them like muscle memory. They must become the default language of your life. Your tongue must refuse lack as a native speaker refuses a foreign language. And your mouth must never be neutral. For in spirit there is no neutral. Every word is seed. Every phrase is command. And every thought you do not reject is already forming a future you will have to live in. So I say to you now, do not just speak truth when you feel strong. Speak it especially when you feel weak. Do not wait for belief to be perfect. Say the law until belief bows. Use your voice as your victory. Use your tone as your territory. Say the thing until the field rearranges. For the law responds to boldness. The law obeys command. And the law never forgets the voice that spoke in faith. Let me give you this image. Your mind is a radio dial. The frequency of wealth is already playing. But if your setting is tuned to worry, lack, fear, or unworthiness, you cannot receive it. It's not because the wealth isn't there. It's because you're tuned to the wrong channel. Your declarations are your dial. Your spoken word is your alignment. And the moment you begin to speak differently, not as one who hopes, but as one who holds, the entire signal shifts. And when the signal shifts, so does the substance. That is why you must become single-minded in wealth. That is why you must become legal in your decree. That is why you must not describe what you see, but declare what is. Speak it when you rise. Speak it when you walk. Speak it when the noise is loud and when the world goes quiet. For every word you speak is either permission or rejection. It is either a door or a wall. And the law is always listening. So I ask you now, what are you training your mind to believe? What are you allowing to echo in your soul? And what will you say today that sets the direction of your life tomorrow? Because the law is waiting, not to bless you randomly, not to reward you emotionally, but to obey you exactly. And it only moves when you speak. There is no neutral morning. There is no innocent thought. The first vibration you release at dawn becomes the legal command for your entire day. Most people do not know this. They think waking up is a physical act. They think the day begins with checking a phone, making a list, or rushing out in habit. But I tell you by law, the day begins with the word. And the word that opens the morning opens the gate through which your supply will enter, or not. The moment you open your eyes, your subconscious is still porous, still listening, still open to impression. And what you speak before the defenses of the world return is what the law engraves as your legal instruction. That is why your first words must never be complaint. They must never be, I'm tired. They must never be, I hope today is better. These are not harmless phrases. They are miscreations. They are accidental commands. And the law does not filter your language for good intentions. It enforces exactly what it is given. So I give you a higher way. I give you the divine blueprint for commanding your day, not through emotion, but through authority. For 3 mornings, you will speak 3 sacred declarations. You will not speak them from fear. You will not speak them to see if they work. You will speak them because they are law, because they are true, and because the law is already moving to fulfill them the moment you say so. Day 1 begins with this command. Every bill is paid by divine mind. You say this before your feet touch the floor. You say this before you check the due dates, before you feel the fear, before you do the math. You say this because divine mind is your source, not your paycheck, not your business, not your plan. And divine mind has already accounted for your needs before they appeared in form. When you say this declaration aloud, you are not hoping. It is not a wish. It is a spiritual signature. It is your legal notice to the universe. I am not governed by appearances. I am governed by law. And law says supply precedes demand. Do not dilute this phrase with doubt. Do not say, I hope every bill is paid. Say every bill is paid. Speak it with authority. Speak it until your nervous system begins to agree. Speak it until the voice of fear grows quiet. The law only hears the voice of the one who refuses to yield to circumstance. Day 2, you rise and you speak this. I welcome unexpected wealth. You are not limited to what you can track. You are not confined to what you see coming. Wealth does not only arrive through invoices, contracts, or clients. Divine supply is infinite in form. But if your mind is trained to expect only what is predictable, then even the miraculous will be blocked by your mental grid. That is why you must say, I welcome unexpected wealth. You are telling the universe, I am open to the new. I am ready for the unseen. I am available for surprises and favor. And you must not merely speak it. You must act as one who expects it. Do not look for proof. Look for agreement. Let your tone match your decree. Let your posture mirror your words. The moment you say, I welcome unexpected wealth, you remove the fence around your expectation. You shift your receiving channel from logic to law. And law does not need a path to bless you. It only needs a voice to authorize the blessing. Day 3, you command with this line, money is not my master. I am money's commander. This declaration resets the spiritual order of power. You are not a servant to expense. You are not a slave to income. You are not a hostage to any currency. You are a legal heir to divine wealth, and your voice governs how energy appears in form. When you say, I am money's commander, you are not being arrogant. You are being obedient to the truth that God is the source, and you are His agent on earth. You are the one through whom invisible substance becomes visible supply. Say it aloud. Say it with fire. Say it while you brush your teeth, while you pour your coffee, while you walk to the door. This is not about routine. This is about rhythm. And rhythm is the language the law understands. Now let me make something very clear. These are not motivational slogans. These are not psychological tricks. These are spoken decrees. They are verbal architecture for invisible substance. They are lines of spiritual code that instruct the universe to obey. When you speak them from identity, not desperation, they begin to rewrite what your subconscious expects. And what the subconscious expects, the world must reflect. You cannot say one thing and expect another. You cannot declare unexpected wealth while rehearsing doubt. You cannot say, I am money's commander while behaving like its victim. The law will not honor contradiction, but it will rush to serve consistency. That is why repetition is not redundant. It is resurrection. Every time you repeat the word, you resurrect the vibration. Every time you say it again, you say to the law, I have not changed my mind. I have not broken my agreement. I am still aligned. Let these 3 mornings become sacred. Let them form a spiritual habit that cannot be stolen by fear, fatigue, or familiarity. The first words of your day are not small, they are sovereign. They set the vibration of the atmosphere. They instruct the invisible. They open the storehouses, and they signal to substance that the commander has risen. You are no longer waking up to survive the day. You are rising to legislate it. You are not beginning with doubt. You are beginning with dominion. And because you do, the law begins to move, not slowly, not hesitantly, but with force, with favor, with full obedience to the voice that spoke. The evening is not the end of the day. It is the beginning of creation. While most people think they are winding down, the soul is winding up. The conscious mind sleeps, but the subconscious remains awake. It listens, it records, it multiplies whatever you hand it in the final moments before silence. And I must tell you, if you fall asleep rehearsing fear, you are not resting. You are reprogramming failure. If you end your day by reviewing what's missing, what's delayed, what feels impossible, then you are not just closing a chapter. You are setting the stage for tomorrow's reality. And the law, ever faithful, obeys. That is why the hours before sleep are sacred. That is why they must never be wasted. You must never hand the subconscious a script of limitation and expect wealth in the morning. The last vibration you release before sleep becomes the soil in which your next manifestation takes root. And the only question is, what are you planting? I give you now the divine replacement for this sacred window of the night. 4 declarations spoken across 4 evenings, designed to retrain the deep mind, not with emotion, but with instruction. These are not affirmations for comfort. They are laws for implantation. You are not soothing yourself to sleep. You are seeding your wealth into the dark. And the spirit, hearing your command, goes to work. Day 4. As you prepare for rest, speak this line aloud. I now receive lavish abundance, not just enough, not a small relief, not a barely making it reprieve. Lavish, overflowing, beyond calculation. You are not meant to scrape by. Divine mind is not stingy. There is no virtue in poverty. The universe holds more wealth than you could spend in 1,000 lifetimes, and all of it becomes legally available to the one who aligns with it in consciousness. Say it again. I now receive lavish abundance. Not someday, not if I deserve it, not if things improve. Now, because this is not about time, it's about truth. And truth, when spoken, rearranges time. It overrides delay. It makes room. It arrives. Day 5, you will say this: the doors of wealth are always open to me. This is the law of infinite opportunity, not limited by industry, economy, or geography. When one door closes, another appears, but only for the one who keeps declaring. If your mouth shuts, your access does too. But if your word remains open, then heaven cannot help but respond. You do not beg for openings, you speak them. You do not ask for access, you authorize it. The doors of wealth are always open to me. This is how you remove the superstition of timing. This is how you stop playing victim to markets, to schedules, to the slow-turning gears of man-made permission. Say it until you feel the air shift around you. Say it until the invisible corridor swings wide. Day 6, as you turn down the light, speak this declaration. What I need comes quickly and freely. Stop expecting delay. Stop glorifying difficulty. Spirit is not slow, and supply is not reluctant. The only holdup is in the mind trained to wait. The law does not say, be patient. It says, be aligned. And alignment speaks in the now. It claims what is ready. It declares what is present. You do not need to understand how it will arrive. That is not your business. You only need to say, "What I need comes quickly and freely," and let the law fulfill itself. Say this not with strain, but with certainty. You are not coercing God. You are confirming the covenant. You are not pushing the universe. You are pointing it toward your word. Day 7. Close the week with this command. I am aligned with the law of increase. This is not a moment. This is a rhythm. This is not a technique. This is an identity. You are not someone trying to receive. You are someone through whom wealth flows naturally, daily, lawfully. To be aligned with increase means that everything in you expects expansion. Your thoughts stretch, your heart opens, your words declare, and because you are aligned, contraction becomes illegal. Loss becomes unnatural. Scarcity becomes unthinkable. Say it again. I am aligned with the law of increase. This is the statement that ends your week in certainty. This is the tone that seals your energy. This is the line the subconscious accepts as blueprint. Now I must explain something vital. Many people think repetition is shallow. They want a new affirmation every day, a fresh inspiration, a different strategy. But I tell you plainly, repetition is holy. Repetition is alignment. The subconscious does not respond to novelty. It responds to rhythm. It receives whatever is rehearsed most faithfully. And if fear has been your most repeated prayer, then fear has become your form. But that ends now. You are not sleeping in fear tonight. You are sleeping in faith. You are not closing your eyes under pressure. You are closing them under instruction. You are not rehearsing disappointment. You are rehearsing dominion. And when you rise tomorrow, you will not wonder whether wealth has begun to move. You will know that it already has, because you spoke, because you declared, because you dared to see the invisible, while others surrendered to the visible. And now, while you rest, the law begins to multiply, silently, surely, legally. There comes a point in every spiritual student's life where inspiration must give way to discipline, where knowing the truth is no longer enough, because you are still living the lie. And if you are honest with yourself, you will admit you have spoken divine wealth with your mouth, yet still carried the program of lack in your core. You have declared favor while secretly preparing for delay. You have affirmed abundance, but expected rejection. This is not a failure of will, it is a failure of programming. And that is why today I teach you the most practical tool in this entire covenant, CRC. Cancel, replace, command. The law obeys the dominant instruction, not the loudest emotion, not the most recent panic, not the strongest wish. It obeys what is most repeated, most rooted, most rehearsed. And that means if you do not confront your inner contradictions, they will continue to rule you, silently, legally, and relentlessly. Every fear that goes unchecked becomes law. Every thought that is not rewritten becomes reality. And if you do not intervene, the cycle will continue. So I give you the CRC formula, not as philosophy, but as a sword. This is your instrument of reversal. This is how you interrupt the lie, override the loop, and write a new command. Step 1. Cancel. When you catch yourself thinking, saying, or even feeling a thought that contradicts divine law, you must say out loud, I cancel that. Not softly, not sheepishly, not as a whisper, with authority, with command, with decision. You do not argue with the thought. You do not analyze it. You strike it. You interrupt the frequency. You say, I cancel that. And the law records it as rejection. Do not wait. Do not hesitate. When you hear yourself say, "I'll never afford that," you cancel it. "I'm always behind," cancel it. "This is too expensive," cancel it. You must become ruthless in deleting what no longer serves. You must become intolerant of the words that once enslaved you. Cancel the lie before it roots. Step 2. Replace. A canceled thought leaves a vacuum, and if you do not replace it, the same thought will return, stronger. You must install a higher truth immediately. If you cancel, "I can't afford that," then replace it with, "If this is mine by divine right, the supply appears now." If you cancel, "I'm always behind," then say, "I am on divine schedule and all things flow to me." You are not lying. You are realigning. You are not pretending. You are prophesying. You are placing a new code into the system. And the subconscious does not argue with codes. It builds from them. Choose replacements that carry authority. Not passivity, not suggestion, but law. Say what is spiritually legal, even if your emotions resist. Truth does not wait for your comfort. It waits for your agreement. Step 3. Command. This is where most stop short. They cancel the lie. They speak a replacement, but they do not command the atmosphere. And the law, though it has heard the new thought, waits for the final decree. So I say to you, seal the shift, give the order, command with finality. Say, "Every cell of my being attracts divine wealth." Say, "I walk in supernatural provision." Say, "My reality now reflects my word." The command is the enforcement. The spiritual court has received your case, but until you issue the final verdict, nothing moves. The word command is not optional here. It is legal speech. It is spiritual legislation. You are not soothing the fear, you are evicting it. You are not requesting change, you are enforcing it. And every time you speak as one who governs, the law rises to obey. Let me walk you through an example. Suppose you hear someone say, "Money doesn't grow on trees." It stirs a familiar agreement in your subconscious. You recognize it. That phrase was used to train your childhood into contraction. You feel it echo in your chest. In that moment, you say aloud, "I cancel that." You disconnect from the belief. You withdraw legal permission. You end the contract. Then you replace it. Money grows from spiritual law, and the law is rooted in me. You've installed the truth. You've rewritten the line. You've substituted folklore for faith. And now you command, "My supply multiplies by divine alignment." The circuit is complete. The law has new orders. The old program has been interrupted and overwritten. This is how transformation happens, not in concept, but in cadence. You will not do this once. You will do it daily, hourly, moment by moment, until the old frequency no longer dares to speak, until the old beliefs shrivel from lack of attention, until your inner courtroom is ruled by spirit and not survival. Let me speak plainly. This will feel unnatural at first. It may even feel performative. That is expected. That is the resistance of old programming. You have rehearsed limitation for years. It feels familiar, almost comfortable. But what is familiar is not always holy. What is habitual is not always true. And that is why CRC is not emotional work. It is legal enforcement. It is not self-help. It is soul command. You are not in battle with demons. You are in disagreement with an outdated contract. And CRC is how you break it. From this moment on, every time a thought arises, you will not allow it to stay. You will cancel it, replace it, command over it. You will override, until the groove of fear is smoothed into silence, until the pattern of panic is interrupted by praise, until the field of your mind becomes fertile for only one harvest: wealth. Let me say this again. The subconscious does not care if a thought is true or false. It only cares if it is repeated. It does not measure logic, it records rhythm. And CRC gives you the rhythm that reclaims your inheritance. You are not convincing your mind. You are rewriting it. You are not begging your life to change. You are instructing it. And the law, ever faithful, will obey. So write these 3 words on your mirror. Cancel, replace, command. They are more than steps. They are your sword, your formula, your courtroom strategy. You do not fear the old script, you rewrite it, and your reality, piece by piece, begins to match the voice that rewrote the law. The world will ask for evidence before it believes you. The law will not. The law waits only for agreement. It does not care how long you've struggled. It does not investigate your past. It does not measure your worthiness. It listens for one thing: the word. And if your word aligns with wealth, the gates of supply must open, not gradually, not conditionally, but legally, immediately, structurally. You are not waiting for wealth to arrive. You are waiting for your voice to match it. You must understand, your voice is your currency. Every phrase you utter, every word you whisper, every tone you carry, it all translates into instruction. Most people bankrupt themselves with casual speech. They speak fear fluently. They joke about lack. They confess unworthiness as if it were honesty. But I tell you, there is no honesty in rehearsing illusion. There is no virtue in affirming the lie. And every time you repeat what is not true in spirit, you agree to stay where you do not belong. That ends today. Now you will speak as lawgiver, not as victim. You will not describe your limitation. You will not explain your delay. You will not justify your fear. You will decree your wealth. You will issue your instruction. You will speak as one who holds the covenant, not because you feel like it, but because the law demands it. And I give you now the affirmations that are not affirmations. They are mandates. You will not say them to feel better. You will say them to create form. You will repeat them until the walls shift, until the old reality dissolves, until the world begins to obey the new language of your soul. Let us begin. The wealth I expect, I receive. Not hope for, not wish into place. Expect. Because expectation is possession in the invisible. Because what you expect is what you legally authorize to appear. This line is your template, your mold. Your mold decides your manifestation. Speak this until doubt gives up. Money comes easily and constantly. No more rehearsing hardship. No more waiting for miracle scraps. No more cycles of feast and famine. Money comes by rhythm, by flow, by spiritual law. You must teach your mind that money is not a miracle. It is a manifestation. And manifestations do not struggle to arrive when the gate is clear. My wealth flows from divine favor, not force. You do not hustle for your inheritance. You do not strain to be seen. The favor of God is not earned, it is received. And when you speak in alignment with favor, the substance begins to gather around your voice. This declaration removes you from the laws of man and places you under the rhythm of spirit. I deserve abundance because I am a divine idea made manifest. You were not born to scrape by. You are not here to prove worthiness. You are not here to earn your right to be supported. You are the legal embodiment of divine thought, clothed in form, speaking law into creation. Say this until shame dissolves. Say it until guilt bows. Say it until you remember what the world trained you to forget, that you are the channel through which provision becomes visible. Now let me tell you a story, not for inspiration, but for illustration. A man once came to me after years of effort. He had worked long hours, repeated affirmations, studied teachings, but still found himself repeating cycles of loss. He was, in his own words, doing everything right but still broke. I listened carefully, and then I asked him one question. Are you speaking as someone who commands or someone who is hoping? He was silent. I gave him one sentence, one line to repeat every time the fear crept in. All my needs are now met by divine supply. I told him to write it, to say it aloud, to whisper it in transition moments, walking, eating, driving, not once, not when inspired, but daily, rhythmically, like a drumbeat that the law could follow. 3 weeks later, he called me, not in panic, but in awe. He had been offered a position at a company he hadn't even applied to. The salary was double what he had ever earned. There was no rational explanation, only alignment, only command, only law. The world calls it coincidence, I call it compliance. The law complied because the voice shifted. The delay ended because the decree began. You must now do the same. And here is how. When fear rises, you do not react, you command. When lack appears, you do not describe, you deny. When old thoughts knock, you do not let them in, you overrule. Say, I walk in supernatural provision. Say, I am divinely remembered and richly rewarded. Say, I am on divine schedule and all things flow to me. These are not slogans. They are frequencies. They are spiritual infrastructure. They are the scaffolding of your new world. You are not speaking to be inspired. You are speaking to install. And every time you do, the law moves, not by miracle, but by mandate. So from this moment forward, I ask you to make a covenant, not with me, but with your word. Every morning you say, my channels are open. Every afternoon you say, money follows me. Every night before rest you say, all is provided. This is your sacred schedule. This is your triad of dominion. It is not optional. It is not reactive. It is not casual. It is law. And if you follow it, your vibration will no longer beg. It will no longer doubt. It will no longer wander. It will announce. It will attract. It will receive. Because your voice is no longer passive. It is prophetic. This is not an experiment. This is not a motivational sprint. This is a covenant. A spiritual agreement between you and the law, sealed by rhythm, backed by identity, and enforced by word. You are not here to try. You are here to train. And for the next 14 days, I charge you to obey the law, not with hesitation, not with doubt, but with fire. If you cannot commit, the law does not condemn, but it will not rearrange. But if you do, if you speak what I give you, if you reject what the world offers, if you remain loyal to the truth no matter how loud the appearance, then the law will not delay. It will act, it will respond, it will comply. This is your 14-day covenant of wealth. Write it, speak it, live it. Each morning before anything else, say aloud, my channels are open, before your phone, before your schedule, before your logic. Give the law its first order. The universe awaits instruction. And if your first word is legal, your first hour becomes aligned. Each midday, no matter where you are, say aloud, money follows me. Not effort, not hustle, not performance. Money follows identity. Money follows vibration. Money follows law. And if you walk as wealth, wealth has no choice but to trace your steps. Each evening, just before you close your eyes, say aloud, all is provided. Not some, not later, not if, all provided. This is your final word of the day. This is what your subconscious will carry through the night. This is what angels move on. This is what opens doors while you sleep. These 3 phrases are not optional. They are the spine of your reprogramming. They are the rhythm of alignment. Do not miss a single one. Speak them even when tired. Speak them even when nothing seems to move. The law does not obey emotion. It obeys consistency. But that is not all. Each time a fear-based thought tries to rise, you will do this. Cancel it immediately. Say, "I cancel that." Replace it with divine truth. For example, "My source is infinite." Command the atmosphere with finality. "I walk in supernatural provision." This is how you keep your field clean. This is how you shut the mouth of lack. This is how you tell the law, "I am still in agreement." And now I call you to upgrade your entire vocabulary. Never again say, "I can't afford that." Replace it with, "If this is mine by divine right, the supply appears now." Never again say, "I'm behind." Replace it with, "I am on divine schedule and all is unfolding for my good." Never again say, "That's too expensive." Replace it with, "I bless wealth wherever I see it, for it reflects my own." Your words are no longer comments, they are contracts. They are not reactions, they are realities. You cannot afford loose language. You cannot afford powerless phrases. Every word is now an order, and orders once spoken in faith must be fulfilled. Let this be your daily meditation. I cancel the thought of lack. I replace it with divine wealth. I command the atmosphere to yield my supply. This is your firewall. This is your shield. This is your declaration of authority. You are not hoping, you are not testing, you are legislating. And if the thought comes, "But what if it doesn't work?" answer it with fire. The law always works when I speak it in faith. You are no longer the person who wonders. You are no longer the person who waits. You are the person who walks. You are the one who commands. You are the embodiment of law, dressed in flesh, sent to demonstrate the invisible form. And I tell you, if you obey this rhythm for 14 days, your language will shift permanently. Your atmosphere will begin to carry weight. Your expectations will outgrow old ceilings. Your supply will find you in unexpected streams. Your mind will no longer question what spirit has already confirmed. This is not magic. This is not luck. This is alignment. This is the power of agreement. And the law, when fully agreed with, cannot be stopped. Now I give you one final instruction. At the end of each day, write one line, just one, based on the truth you spoke that day. Not what happened, not what you feared, but what you declared. Examples: I am now a magnet for divine provision. Supply answered me today. My voice moved the invisible. Write it down. Make it visible. Anchor it in the physical realm. This is not journaling. This is enforcement. This is the documentation of manifestation in motion. And if, after 14 days, your world is shifted, do not be surprised. Say only, "Of course it did. The law heard me," because it always does. You are no longer begging. You are no longer explaining. You are no longer negotiating. You are now commanding. You are now agreeing. You are now walking in covenant. And the wealth that seemed distant, it is no longer waiting. It is arriving. Because your voice is no longer silent, it is moving. Because your word is no longer casual, it is yours. Because the law has heard your name and said yes.